Okay, so for this interview, I'm going to be interviewing my mom, who is a RN, and she lives back home, so I have to call her right now.
Hello.
Hi, I'm recording already.
You're already recording?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So,
this is my mom. She is an RN. So, yeah.
yes, I am.
So, when did you know that you wanted to become an RN?
I was about 18 or 19 years old, freshman in college,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, a friend of mine was doing the pre-RN program, and having no guidance in life at this time, I decided that I just wanted to follow and see what would happen.
Mm-hmm. And you ended up liking it.
Well, at first, I was just following, so therefore I didn't do too good of a job. I failed some of the prereq classes, had to go in front of the RN board at the school, where I was told that there was no way that I could ever become a nurse, that basically they were kicking me out of their pre-program. I pleaded my case with the board, and they made the decision to give me one semester more try. But I could only do certain classes. I could not take any core classes. It had to be prereqs only. So the following semester, I took these prereq classes at a much slower pace than what would normally happen. Normally, they would have 5 or 6 classes, and they allowed me to take 2 or 3 classes. And I had to have a check-in during the following semester of no less than 2 times, I believe. If not once a month, I had to check in with the entire board, which consisted of about 4 to 6 teachers, and they sat at a table, and I had a chair in the middle of a room, and that was it. And they looked at me and asked me questions about how the schooling was going, and I had to answer their questions, just so that we could see where I was and what have you. I ended up passing that semester with flying colors, and I again had to go in front of the board. By this time, it was during the summer, so I had to wait, summer semester, so I had to wait until just before fall. And the fall semester, I had to go and plead my case again in front of the board, at which time, without hesitation, they released all restrictions and allowed me to take my full caseload.
That's good. So you kind of struggled a bit at first.
I did struggle. I was working full-time at a hospital. So what I would do is get up and go to my clinical classes, which started, it was about a 2-hour commute drive from my house. They started at 6 in the morning. We had to show up, which meant I had to leave at 4 in the morning. But I also worked until 11:30 at night, full-time. A lot of the other students in the courses worked part-time, or they were subsidized where they worked part-time but got full-time pay. I chose not to do this because I didn't want to have to repay the hospital after I got my license, making sure that I only stayed with them. They were a very low-paying hospital. I wanted the freedom to be able to choose where I went or what I did. So I chose to work full-time. Like I said, I got done at 11:30 at night, and I had to beeline home to my house, get some rest, get up, and be out of my house at approximately 4 in the morning. So I was slightly sleep deprived. I did homework on breaks at work. Any chance I could get between classes, if a class was canceled, I was, trying to do it. And I think that having too much on my plate attributed to why I struggled in my first semester. Again, by the time I got my full caseload back, which was a year later, by the time I got that back, I had readjusted. I was probably 19 and a half to 20 at that time. My focus had changed from being an adolescent and more me focused into more focused on what I wanted out of life.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I want to go? Where was my plan?
Yeah. So, would you say that right now it's hard to get along with your coworkers?
I try to get along with everybody because we do take a team approach, which means I'm there to help you and you're there to help me. There are times when we are individuals and we handle things individually, but for the most part, we all get along. Our personalities are pretty much such that we can get along. And if there is a riff in our team, then we can come together and discuss what's going on in an adult manner and work through it.
Do you feel like there's like cliques or like it's like some people are judgy?
There are some cliques. I'm not going to lie. There are some cliques. As in any field, people that graduated at the same time, or people that maybe think that they know everything and that everybody knows nothing except for them. There are some cliques, but for the most part, the team that I work with, the individuals, we work very well, and if we're not really a clique, we're all about, helping each other,
Mm-hmm.
not because there is no I here. There's no I, meaning I can't fix the world, but as a group, we can fix the world.
Yeah. So, what would you say is the most frustrating part of the job?
I believe the most frustrating part of my job would be when superiors look down on you like you know nothing, or they talk down to you when clearly 90% of the time I'd say it's not, you have followed the directions of what you were told to do, and then for them to turn around and get upset because, either they forgot to put a step in, or, something small, but when your superiors think that you're an idiot is the most frustrating part.
Mm-hmm. So, do you still have the same passion that you had for nursing as when you first started?
Oh, yes. This is a job that cannot be put on by robots. Hands-on people help people. It's all about the patient, and it's so rewarding when you discharge someone knowing that you've done your best and you're sending them back out into the world to continue and focus on themselves. That is the best feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've done what you can.
Yeah, it like feels good to help someone else.
It does.
What advice would you give someone that wants to go into nursing, or someone who maybe is struggling like you did when you first started?
Well, if you're struggling, I would say to look within yourself, to hit the pause button and think, is this something that I want to do, or am I doing this for someone else? Because if it's something that in your heart you truly want to do, then I say, by all means, do what you need to do to get it done. This is a job. It is so rewarding in the end that, I suggest it to everybody. Find what you love in life. If you love digging a ditch, then give it your all, and you'll never have a job because you'll always love going. You're not going to say, oh, I got 5 days till the weekend, or I got 30 days till vacation. You will job, and when you don't have work on weekends or your vacations, you know, you will always, it's something that you will miss. It's not something like, yay, I'm away from work. You'll be like, okay, I'm away from work. I'm taking my rest and relaxation. But I'm also, you know, still focused. And I just think that it's a great thing to have a job that you love.
Mhm. Besides, like, struggling in the schooling, was there any other obstacles you had to overcome?
Obstacles that I had to overcome.
Like paying for the school, or like
Well,
coworkers like causing problems or anything like that?
okay, so one of the things, I was a truly blessed person where my family was able, we went in what I call a 50-50. My family paid for my tuition, and I paid for the books. The following semester, I paid for tuition, and the family paid for books. My family was extremely supportive. However, they encouraged me to take responsibility for my own education. This has made a huge impact on how you look at the world, because if you're given something, and my outlook is, if you are given something, you don't appreciate it as much as if you have to work towards it.
Mhm.
Um, Again, you know, I appreciate everything my family was able to do for me, including making me pay for part of my education. When I came out of nursing school, I did not have debt towards the hospital. Like I said, I did not do their internship where I worked part-time and got full-time pay. I could do what I wanted to when I got out. By the way, I stayed at the hospital for another 4 years after that, by choice, but I didn't have to.
Mhm.
A lot of my friends and or co-students, they had to stay. They had signed a contract.
Mhm.
Um, but yes, that is something that I do appreciate.
Okay. What kind of skills would you say are needed for this job?
You definitely should have some people skills and some communication skills. Uh, Skills of foreign languages are always, great to have. Any foreign language. And by people skill, just having enough empathy to sit and talk to somebody that maybe didn't have a visitor, or maybe they did have a visitor that stressed them out, and just being able to sit and talk with somebody and listen to them. Don't try to fix what's going on, but actually just listen to them.
Mhm.
Um, Also, that's people skill, and you need to be able to think fast and on your feet, because not everything is smooth going. Sometimes there's emergencies, and you actually have to think fast and know what you're doing. And also, what is your place in the team? Because everybody can't be the leader of the team.
Mhm.
And yet you do have to take turns. If somebody can lead today while other people lead tomorrow, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah. And what are your hours like?
Well, I currently work at a hospital, and hospitals are 24 hours a day. There are 3 separate shifts, AMs, PMs, and nights. PMs is also known as the swing shift. Sometimes I may be called in early to cover, especially if they're extremely busy, or I may be mandated that I have to stay late, depending on what the ratio is and if people call out. It's not a job that you can just say, okay, everybody, all the nursing staff is sick, so, patients, you're on your own for the next 8 hours, peace out. I mean, you actually have to have enough coverage on the floor.
Yeah.
So, I do love the fact that you could do this, that flexibility. At my age, I have the freedom to be able to come in early or stay late.
Mhm. So if you could change one thing, like the hours or the salary or like some of the rules that you don't like, what would it be? What would you change?
I would definitely want to figure out a way to streamline the paperwork. It takes so much time to do the paperwork. I feel it's taken away from my time with the patients.
Mhm.
I would love to get to know patients a little bit more.
Mhm. So what for you is the best part of the job or your favorite part?
My favorite part of the job would be getting to know the patients individually, seeing them come in. Sometimes they come in life or death situations, and then we get to watch them leave with their families. That is the best feeling.
Mhm.
We've done our best. We've, followed everything that we could. We've used every bit of our knowledge, and now we're sending them back to their family to finish their recuperation. And hopefully, it'll be a long time before we see them again.
Mhm. Okay, that's all the questions I have. So, thank you for letting me interview you.
You are so welcome. If you have any other questions, just give me a call.
Okay. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you too.